Can always delete it too as soon as we're done.
All right, we should be live on Facebook, so I'm going to double check that. And I'm going to
all right. If we are live, I'm going to ask everybody to say something. Now that I don't have any water and we just went live, if you are watching this and you are on Facebook, we're doing a test right now, and we're testing out a couple of different pieces of software for the Facebook Live. If you guys have any questions that you want us to answer while we're on here, we'll be more than happy to do that if you get or if we get any questions. It's a Sunday evening or afternoon, so we're going to pretty much just do a quick 10, 15-minute thing here. Chris, I'm on Periscope right now. I'm not seeing anything. So I don't see anything there.
Okay. It looks like we're live on Facebook, and it looks like we're live on YouTube as well. It's a little weird. The screen is a little weird, but it looks like it's broadcasting video, which is kind of
if you are on YouTube, let me know that you're on YouTube right now watching, because we're trying to go YouTube, Periscope, and also Facebook. And I'm still managing to move around here. Okay, yeah, now I see that we are on Facebook, it looks like. Yes, okay. Yeah, that is a weird layout, I guess, because I guess what they do is they allow room for more guests. We can have up to 4 guests on. So guys, if you're watching this is totally random, by the way. So Sunday afternoon, and actually just wanted to jump on here real quick and do a quick little test and see how this software is going to work for us. So bear with us. But if you have any questions, post them in there. Let us know that you can see and hear us. And I'm going to also go check on YouTube, and we'll see what's happening over there. And we can go ahead.
Looks like we are live on YouTube, Scott. I don't know if you have to push it live manually on Periscope or what we have to do there. But while we're waiting on figuring that portion out, if you guys do have any questions, let us know right inside the chat here, and we'll get to them just as soon as we can. You know, like Scott was saying, we did just kind of jump on randomly, and we're curious to see what kind of happens. Rosalind Griffiths wants us to know that she can see and hear us, which is
cool.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So, you know, if you guys missed the power hour that we did this week, I wanted to recap a couple important things that we talked about there while we're waiting on some other questions to come in. The first thing is you guys now have 9 days before Amazon assesses that next inventory storage fee, the next big one, right? That happens twice a year. And if you have had any units inside of Amazon longer than 6 months, you get hit with that long-term storage fee. So go ahead and check your inventory reports and your inventory age reports. Make sure you don't get any nasty surprises on the 15th. I know that we're going to get a couple emails, a couple questions, a couple Facebook posts, a couple YouTube comments about, hey, you know, I got hit with a fee. I'm not sure what it is. So I want to make sure that you guys are aware of that. The second big thing that happened last week in terms of Amazon was that they rolled out those headline search ads. If you've ever been brand registered, whether it was in 1.0 or 2.0, you have access to those. It's a new way that you can run sponsored product ads inside of Amazon. So if you guys have any questions on either of those, product research, anything like that, we're here to chat with you guys just for a few minutes and see if we can get this fancy new piece of technology that we're trying to use to actually work. Scott, did you have any luck on the Periscope side of stuff?
I did not. Not at all. Looking at the app, and I'm looking at I'm looking on the phone, and I'm looking on the computer, and I'm not seeing anything to go live. So I'm still not seeing that, Chris, for whatever reason. Maybe we just don't have something set properly. I'm also seeing, like, I would have thought on the YouTube side of things that we would have been broadcasting right to the main channel. And I'm not seeing, I'm not really seeing that. I'm seeing, if I go to my live streaming, I can see we have a stream live, but I'm not seeing it display on the channel page.
Well, I can tell you why that is.
Cool.
It's set to unlisted. So
there you go. That's cool.
Now that I saved that, go ahead and refresh that feed and let me know it's there. Rosalind has a question for us. So while you're making sure that works,
there you go.
Let me know. She said, my first product is sent in around the 10th or so. So I hit that sweet spot regarding inventory, and you should be fine there. The only time that you're going to have that long-term storage fee is if you've had any units, and they don't track it like 1-to-1 units, but a shipment, right? So if you send in 100 and you still have some of that original 100 left after 6 months, then they charge you a long-term storage fee on those. And it looks like Rosalind is going to get in. And I know this is something that, Scott, this is the time of the year that we're going to start getting the question, is now too late to get in for fourth quarter? And in years past, we've always said, no, it's not too late, because as long as you can get your stuff in by October 15th, you're generally going to be in stock in time. But last year, Amazon actually stopped shipments from people who had never listed a product before a little earlier than that. And so if you guys are in that product research stage, if you can get your product before then, that's great. If not, don't worry too much about it. Fourth quarter is not the only thing that's going to make or break your business. And if it is, then you have an issue somewhere else. Fourth quarter is bonus time, right? It's like garbage time. It's just, you get all kinds of extra points for showing up and for being there, but it shouldn't be what makes or breaks your business for the year. Ryan Lynch says, quick question. I'm planning on watching this week's Facebook ads workshop with Rick Mulready, which if you guys aren't signed up for that, you're interested in Facebook ads, it's definitely worth taking a look at. Could I use a WordPress plugin to make landing pages, or do you recommend lead pages, etc.? If you're going to do something other than a giveaway, you can use whatever you want, right? Scott and I have been using the giveaway method. If you guys have any questions about that, you can find an entire workshop that we've done on that, theamazingseller.com/build list. If you're doing anything other than a giveaway, you're going to do an ebook, something like that to try to capture emails. You can use either lead pages or ClickFunnels. I know my team prefers to use ClickFunnels just because there's a lot more stuff that we can do with it, and we don't need multiple subscriptions. I would tell you to lean towards the giveaway method personally, and that's what Scott and I have had a lot of success with recently. And for that, we like to use Giveaway Boost. So use whatever you want to use there. You can use any of the tools that are out there. They all work. It's just a matter of which ones that make the most sense for your business. For us, that's ClickFunnels, or if we're doing a Giveaway Boost makes the most sense for us. Alan wants to know, can someone repost the Power Hour from Friday? Alan, that's actually pinned to the top of the Amazing Seller group. So if you're on your mobile phone, just hit view pin post. If you're on your desktop, you can actually just go to the very post at the top. It's going to be a video that looks just a little bit like this one, except Dom is going to be over here as well.
All right.
Keith Armstrong says, good afternoon, gentlemen. I guess it is still afternoon here in Texas. Keith, it's nice to see you, my friend. Scott, did you see anything? Is the YouTube stream available now to everybody?
It is available. It's at the top now. So if you go to the main page of the channel, you can see that displayed at the top now, that it says live now. So that must be how that works. So yeah, so I guess that part is working. That's cool. So that will feed that into there. But no luck on Periscope. So not really quite sure what's going on there or how that works, but I guess we'll have to do a little bit of figuring that out. The other thing is, I know that we're not posted to the page either. We're only posted in the group, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. So normally we post into the page and then we go into the group. So I'm wondering how that is as far as people being notified. And guys, you guys are watching like a real live test here. And again, we'll probably end up pulling this down just because it's so random. But Chris and I wanted to try this out, and we figured why not just jump on, do a quick little Q&A and see how it's working. So as of right now, it seems like it's connecting to YouTube and Facebook, just not the Facebook fan page. So that's something else we'd have to work on. And then the Periscope. And just to let you guys know, like we did actually, Chris, I was just going through some footage yesterday on our North Carolina event. And I was going through that footage, and it was really about, how to build your list and all of that stuff. And we're talking a lot about there in certain areas about Facebook Lives. And, this is exactly what we're talking about as far as like jumping on. And we've actually had some pretty good luck with Facebook Lives recently and within our new brand. And I think we had a video that went out Friday, and it's already over 10,000 views. And we had one that went out
today, and it's over 10,000. That's the one that
that was one today. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was about 3-4 hours ago that started, and that is well up over 10,000 views, which is kind of cool because our fan page is not even that big, right? So it's one of those things where if you get content, and it doesn't have to be the best content on the planet, it just has to be content, and it has to be something that your audience might be interested in. They do share it with their friends, they share it with other influencers, they share it with other people. And that's what really starts to take off. And what we've noticed from doing that inside of our brands is, one, we get a nice boost in sales anytime that happens, but we also pick up fan page followers and email addresses and all of this kind of stuff that we want to build the brand stuff long term. We get to build that as an asset, and it's very, very easy to do it because all you have to do is jump on Facebook Live. Now, if you don't want to be the face of your brand, obviously that makes it a little more complex. You have to find somebody that can do that for you, but it works regardless. The other way that you can do it is something more similar to what the Armstrongs are doing. They went out and they found an influencer that's willing to do some of those kinds of things for them, and it works the same way, right? You just have somebody that can do it, whether it's you, whether it's the face of your brand, or whether it's the face of another brand that is willing to cross promote with your stuff. Keith wants to know, does Giveaway Boost have an area for statistics, total visitors, percent signups, referrals, referral signups, etc.? Keith, actually, the way that you would do that right now is by exporting the CSV. The way that I keep track of all of that stuff is through Google Analytics. So
hey, Chris,
if you have any,
just hold on. I think I got Periscope working.
Awesome.
Yeah, we got people already coming in. So that was interesting. What I had to do, just to let you guys know on the fly, is I had to go back into the producer settings, and then I had to go into that feed that we had set up and then hit start broadcast. So, and then I could view the broadcast. So we are technically live. And Charles says, long time no scope. And so, yeah. Now, Chris, are you able to see comments all coming in to one channel now?
Nope.
No, you can't.
Which is kind of disappointing. But it's easy enough if there's two or three of us. If there was one of us, this would be a little more complex. But since there's, you can kind of take a look at scope. I can take a look at Facebook Live and at YouTube, and that kind of keeps us on track. So jumping back to Keith really quick, guys, we have about 15 minutes before this is going to kick us off because it is a test. We're testing a new piece of software, and it kind of gives us a hard cutoff at 30 minutes. If this is something that you guys enjoyed, whether you're on YouTube or Periscope, since we can do this all at once now, we don't need like 19 different devices. Let us know on Scope and on YouTube that you want to continue to hang out with us, and we'll see if we can make this kind of a permanent fixture of the way that we do Facebook Lives. So Keith was asking about total statistics. Keith, the way that I do that is I do that through Google Analytics. That gives me the total number of people who hit the page. Then by looking at the thank you page, I know how many people opted in versus how many people were there. That gives me my conversion rate. So Giveaway Boost doesn't have a ton of in-depth analytics right now, but it does have all of the stuff that you need to get started. Rosalind wanted to know, she said, I'm planning a launch pretty soon. Scott, do you recommend a particular podcast or post on The Amazing Seller that has the most up-to-date advice? So we already talked about theamazingseller.com/build list, but is there any other places that you would point Rosalind or anybody else who's getting ready to launch a product to in order to get the most recent advice and some of the strategies and tactics that we've been talking about recently?
Yeah, I mean, not necessarily, because I think the launch list is one of the ways that we're talking about it, and the pay-per-click. So if you go to a pay-per-click episode, or you go to the actual the build list one, then I think that would be the best place to go. Bottom line is this: you want to be able to plan out how you're going to launch. And in that launch, there's going to be two different things. There's going to be a list or an influencer that you can reach out to. If you're using an influencer, that is their list, right? It's their audience. If you build your own audience, which we talk about in Build List, in that workshop, that's what we do. The second part of that is we are running pay-per-click right out of the gate. And we talk about that as far as like the pay-per-click stuff is, I think the resource there, Chris, is theamazingseller.com/PPC.
Correct.
So I'd have to go back and look and see which one would be best for you. You can always go over to theamazingseller.com and just type in launch or launch strategy, and all the episodes would launch, and you can just look at the most recent one. That'll take you there. It's funny, Chris, so I just wanted to chime in here really quickly. Periscope is rocking. Like, we're like about 38, 40 people, and a lot of people have said, Scott, where have you been? I've missed my scopes. I've missed the patio scopes. I've missed all of the – so you know what? That actually that kind of reminds me that I probably should be connecting here with you guys on Periscope more. The problem is, and like I've told you guys before, is like you have to figure out where your time is best spent. And it's hard because you have Periscope, you have Facebook Live now, you have Instagram now. So I'm trying to figure out, that's why we're doing this today, is I'm trying to figure out a way to be able to, broadcast to multiple channels at once. So it's kind of hard to do. How many of you have actually been on a Periscope that I've taken you on a walk with me? I'm curious on that, because I may do more of those. Those are always fun. So if you guys can chime in on Periscope there. Facebook Live, let us know that you're there too. I'm trying to see if you guys can compete on as far as how many people you guys can get on. So you have to share this, like it, you have to do some things. And Chris, I don't think on Facebook you can actually share it because we didn't share it to the page.
Because we only put it inside the group. So on Facebook Live, if you guys can, one, make sure that you can still see and hear us now that we added Periscope. Let us know. Give us a thumbs up, a Mr. Yuck, any of those kinds of things. Two, we have about 14 minutes till we have to jump off of here. So if you have any questions, whether you're on YouTube, Periscope, or Facebook Live, let us know in whatever chat you're hanging out in, and we're going to answer those just as soon as we can. Scott, we got a question here from Oscar Lopez, who says, would you get into the market that has hundreds of reviews, but most of the top competitors have really bad listings? And I mean like bad reviews and horrible listings and bad optimization. I feel like I can do way better, but the total number of reviews makes me doubtful. So Oscar, kind of the follow-up question to that on my end would be, how many reviews are you calling hundreds of reviews? Is it 300? Is it 900? Is it 1,200? Right? If you're in that 300 to 500 range on average, remember, this is not just one competitor, but it's on average, I wouldn't worry too much about it. And I would feel okay competing in that market, especially if you have an improved product over what everybody else is doing. If you're in that 900 to 1,200 range, again, you can be competitive there, but I would probably avoid it if it was my first product. Scott, do you kind of feel the same way on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, reviews, they definitely tell you how much competition is there, right? And from there, that's where you need to make the decision. So, yeah, I mean, sometimes it's a gut thing too. If you have a brand that you're building, then, you may be able to go a little heavier on the reviews because they aren't going to matter as much because you have your following. It's really going to depend on that type of stuff. But yeah, I agree.
I just heard you say it depends, and that always cracks me up.
Hey, hold on a minute. I gotta go. I gotta do something for Periscope because Periscope is rocking right now. I need the double tap on this. I need some hearts. I seen some hearts early. I want to see some hearts now. And people said on Periscope the reason why they like Periscope so much because they get the notifications. They were like, "Wow, I looked down and I heard it, and I couldn't believe it was actually you. You were back on." So, thank you for that, and send some hearts this way. And I'm going to answer a Periscope question here. What's your guess on purchasers versus reviews? So, okay, let's talk about that really quickly. And I think with what they mean is if you see they have 500 reviews, how many sales do you think that they're having? I think that's what they're talking about. Is that what you're taking from that, Chris?
Purchases versus reviews. Yeah. And so the kind of the way that I'm interpreting that is more along the lines, and let us know if either of us get this right. But the way that I take that is like, is it okay if they're making more sales? Does that review number go up in terms of where you feel comfortable? Yeah.
So, I've seen it sometimes where someone has 1,000 reviews and they're only getting like 250 sales a month, so I don't necessarily think that just means that there's a lot more sales. It could mean that they had a rush of sales or they had maybe a trend of sales, but it doesn't, or they went out there and they bought reviews. You know what I mean? So, I don't necessarily look at that as like it has 1,000 reviews, so I can't compete with them because of the sales. I look at it as if I do rank alongside them, are they going to buy from me or buy from them? That's more of the deciding factor there.
And I'm kind of the same boat there. To me, like, yeah, if everybody in the space was making 1,000 sales a month, then I might be willing to kind of play a little bit more fast and loose with that reviews number. And again, it's all of a gut feel when you get there. We typically say, the 500 reviews is like the top level where I tend to feel comfortable, right? Mm-hmm. But if everybody's making tons of sales there and there's room for improvement on the product and you can find, under optimized listings and all of that kind of stuff, that tends to play into that decision. And all of the things that you hear Scott and I talking about in terms of product selection are guidelines. They're not fixed rules. So it is going to vary a little bit depending on what happens there. Charles from Dallas wanted us to know, he says, "Sup, Chris, on Facebook versus Scope, I prefer Scope." And wow. I like Scope a lot too. Because Facebook just doesn't do the notifications right. That's the big thing. But we have a whole bunch of people that always hang out with us on Facebook as well. So we're trying to figure out a way that we can get to everybody and make it easy. So Scott, did Scope have any other questions?
Oh, let me look quick. I can jump back over there. Guys, if you have any questions on Periscope, let me know right now and I'll answer them. We are going to jump off here. We went a little bit longer as we usually do, but not because now that we have the 3 different channels running pretty much. Can I make sales now? do my private label, or I think it's can I make sales now, or is private label later? I think that's what they mean. So maybe,
yes. The answer is
yeah.
yes.
The answer is yes.
You can put up like an unbranded, just generic product and sell. And if you guys go back and listen to, is it 68? Is that Chris Gaston?
I think so.
Just go to the site and type in $500 challenge. That's kind of what happened there, right? You're just putting up a generic product, seeing if it sells, and then if it sells, you're going all in with it versus going all in with a private label up front, which is always a lot of fun. Alan wants to know, do you recommend tactical arbitrage site for online arbitrage? I just wanted to get your thoughts. I've heard both good and bad things about the tool. I don't do any OA myself other than for things that I'm trying to buy. I'll use some of those types of sites if I'm trying to buy something for myself. Like I got a couple of Hatchimals for people at Christmas by using Zoolerts and some of those other places that monitor for price drops, but I don't use it personally. And Scott, I know you don't use it personally either. So it's one of those things. I know there's a bunch of people joining us on YouTube, and I'm curious if any of you guys have questions over there. Scope as well. Scott, we have about 5 minutes before we have to wrap up here. Is there anything else you wanted to chat and let people know about?
No, I think, again, guys, this was like a random thing that we just jumped on. I haven't been on Periscope in a while. I am playing around over there on Instagram too, so we will be definitely jumping in there as well and doing some live stuff over there. There you can find me at Scott Voker. Someone just asked a quick question on Periscope. Do I still use Jungle Scout? And the answer is absolutely yes. And what I'm using Jungle Scout for is not necessarily to find my product. It's to dig deeper once I get an idea for a product. And it's funny, I was just going through this morning with someone that I know personally, that we were having a conversation, and they asked me that question. They go, like, how are you finding products? Are you just, and I'm like, no, you have your wife do a touch list, you do a touch list, your kids do a touch list, and then that kind of gets those things happening. Or you have a new project that you're working on, and then from there, that brings up new things because you need accessories, you need things, right, to finish that project or whatever. Let's see. Okay, that one's gone.
I got a good one here from Rosalind.
Yeah.
She just wanted to know, how far apart are you guys from the U.S.? Like in the U.S., and I'm in Texas, Scott's in South Carolina, but we do this a couple times a week. We chat and we get stuff done that way. And quite honestly, guys, the rest of my team is in Nevada, and we're still able to communicate. So, and I think that's something that gets a lot of people stuck, Scott. We get asked a lot of times about, like, how do I find a partner, or does my partner have to be in the same city, that kind of stuff. And the answer is no, you can be anywhere. It's kind of the beauty of the 21st century and the magic of the internet. All
right. Hey, I got a quick question before we have to jump, because I know this is going to, I don't know if this just ends automatically or what.
We got about 4 minutes, and I don't know if it's just going to shut us off.
All right. So cool. So I want to answer this one other question. Someone just asked, how do you rank for keywords if you're not using pay-per-click, or if you're using pay-per-click, how does a giveaway give you, or a contest, how does that give you a spike in your search rank? And the answer is, you're optimizing your listing first and foremost. The very first thing that you're doing is you're telling Amazon what your product is about in the title, in the bullets, in the description, in the back-end keywords. And when you start to get sales, guess what? You start to rank, because you're going to be able to, or Amazon's going to scrape your listing, and you're going to be seen for these keywords, primarily the title, and then from there, the bullets in the back end. So just to let you guys know, that is the power of velocity. Okay. Sales velocity. If you have, Chris, we just did one of our more recent launches, and all we did was a quick little mention on a Facebook Live. I don't even think we pushed it to our list yet. And we're selling about 5 to 6 a day. We're ranking on page 2 for one of our more competitive keywords. And the reason is number one, it's not that competitive. And number two, we're optimized, and we're getting sales coming through the door. So so just understand, sales are what's going to help you rank if you're optimized.
And we had that question inside Private Label Classroom, now TAS Breakthrough U, this week as well. And it's one of those things. And the question, I think, was worded very similarly. It was like, okay, I understand that if somebody clicks on my ad and they buy, that I get kind of juice for that keyword. But if I'm doing an email list and I'm not using like a super URL or a keyword rich URL or any of the stuff that you used to be able to get away with that you shouldn't be doing now, how does Amazon know what to rank me for? And the answer is, it's based on your listing, right? Now, you don't get, in my opinion, you wouldn't get as much juice for garlic press from that generic sale as you would if somebody bought it through that keyword, right? But rising tides lift all boats, right? So if you can get that sales velocity, you're going to start to rank for all the stuff that you're relevant for. The more you rank for the stuff that you're relevant for, the faster that tide rises. So that's exactly what happened to us in our last few launches. We used our email list or a Facebook Live, just like this one, to launch those products, and we started to rise organically through the ranks. Then when you add PPC on top of that, those sales really take off. Victor wanted to know, Scott, what is your opinion on using Zonblast to give your product an extra kick? For me, I would probably stay away from it at this point. I also wouldn't use JumpSend or any of those other services that were around before the review change, just because I don't want my products associated with them. And quite honestly, you don't need them. All they are an email list. You can build your own email list. You can be much more relevant. You can give less of a discount, therefore make more money, and you can achieve the same results by doing it yourself. And actually, then you're building a long-term asset for your business. That's just my personal opinion, Scott. What are your thoughts?
And I'm gonna echo that, but I'm also gonna add that your time to build a list and an asset to me is well worth it, and to also do some research to find an influencer, as our good friends Keith and Melissa Armstrong have found that if you find just one influencer, it can change everything. And another quick question here on pay-per-click. Someone wanted to know that their credit card was stolen. They had to cancel it. They needed to add a new credit card. Will that impact my pay-per-click? And as long as you added a new credit card, then no, it'll update within an hour.
And they'll send you an email if they try to charge you and you don't have a card on. They're very good about collecting the money that you owe them.
But so you can also, if you are making sales, you can turn it over for them to pull the money out of your Amazon account. As far as like out of your money that they are going to send you. So you can do that as well. Chris, I think we're going to wrap this up. Periscope is rocking though. I'm pumped for Periscope. I just want to give Periscope peeps a little shout out, and I probably should get back on there and do some walks with you guys, because you guys are cool. And Facebook, you guys are cool too. Don't get me wrong. You guys are always there. But we are testing this out. This was a complete random test. Have no idea how it went on YouTube. I think YouTube had a few watchers and not really sure how maybe we didn't optimize properly. I don't know, Chris. But we'll figure it out.
We'll have to figure that out.
We'll have to figure it out. It's part of the process and it's part of the game. This is, to me, like I said, Chris, before, you have to treat business, and I was talking to my wife about this morning, you have to treat business as if it's a game, right? It's a game to basically put a play in place and then see what happens. And then you adjust according to plan. You know what I mean? Like if you run a football play, you come back in, it didn't work. Hey, what do? We change it. We do a different play. We modify things, So it's the same difference in business and in this type of stuff, right? We're testing, we're tweaking, we're seeing what works, what doesn't work. And hey, this was fun in the process, So always enjoy hanging out with you guys. So Chris, yeah, let's wrap this up. I'm going to go ahead and end the Periscope, and then you can go ahead and the Facebook.
I'll shut the rest of it down. One thing, Scott, for everybody that's on Periscope with us, Facebook Live, and on YouTube, if you guys are brand new to the TAS world, to selling on Amazon, to any of that stuff, I know we are doing our first workshop in quite a while on the 5 phases that it takes to find, source, launch, and grow your product on Amazon and to be successful. So if you want all of those basics, you want it in a condensed form, if you're looking for all of that stuff, you can come hang out with us. I think it's this Thursday night, but you can find all the details at theamazingseller.com/workshop.
Cool, man. All right. Yeah, I'm excited about that too. We got a workshop on Tuesday, 1 o'clock with Rick Mulready, Facebook ads. That's going to be fun. theamazingseller.com/FB training. And you can get all that. And then, Thursday night, we'll be doing our 5 phases, which we haven't done in a while. So excited about that too. All right, guys, let's wrap this up. Have an awesome, amazing rest of your Sunday. And we'll see you guys next week sometime, I'm sure. So keep at it. And, just know that we're here for you. All right. So take care. And as always, take action. We'll see you.